Hey, welcome to another Milepost here on the V-Twin Life. V-Twin Life is brought to you by a few great companies. One being Crash Inc. Clothing. You can find them out of Oregon. Great company, specialized in clothes, doing work on bikes now. You can check them out at crashinclothing.com. They got a lot of great stuff. Hey, head on over there. Maybe they got something you like. And we can't forget Wild Ass. You like pounding miles, you like riding, you want to be in comfort? Hey, maybe strap a Wild Ass under your ass and ride with an air cushion and be comfortable for hours. And can't forget Custom Dynamics, leading the industry in lighting LED technology. Man, these guys got some great stuff. So head on over to Custom Dynamics and check it out. Now, let's get to another milepost of the V-Twin Life. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back here tonight. We got Milepost 156 with the guys from the Motostate Podcast. Got Ryan just a few minutes late. He's got some family stuff going on. He will join us, but Luke's here going to talk about the podcast and what they got going on and, you know, why he enjoys motorcycles, because that's what we do. It's what we're all about.
That's right.
Hey, man, thanks for taking time out and coming to hang out.
Yeah, appreciate you having us on. Looking forward to it, man. This is gonna be a good time.
Yeah. So I know, waiting for him, but for Ryan to hang out, get here. But let's kind of dive this. How did you get into motorcycles, man? Where did it come into life for you?
So I'm one of those guys kind of late in life coming into it. So I started riding a little over 6 years ago. So I was I just turned 40, and hey, there's Ryan.
Hey, there he is.
What's up, buddy?
What's going on there, big guy?
Not too. Holy smokes, Denver! What happened to your beard? Come on!
I know. I got a little crazy last week. Decided to start over and shaved it off.
Yeah, no shortage of facial hair on this episode. That's for sure.
Well, the first time I was on with Denver, I think his beard was probably down. I mean, another 5 or 6 inches. Yeah,
yeah, it was down there.
Yeah, for sure. And then I remembered when you had was there a charity thing? You shaved it off for something. What was that for?
Yeah, that was for Mile Monsters, for my yearly ride, Monsters Over Mountains. I put a crazy number of fundraising money out there. It's like there's no way it's ever going to hit it, and
Oh,
froze for a second.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes.
Where did I go? Hey, there I am.
Hey, there you are. I hear you.
Okay.
There you are. We see you.
But yeah, so I put, a crazy, I want to say you said $5,000, and like they had till Sunday at 5:00 when the ride would end, because it was a 36-hour, 1,500-mile run, and it was like 1:00, and it was way short. And then I got a text from Riot that said, "I hope your clippers are charged or sharp." I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And so, yeah, we ended up shaving it off for a fundraiser. And my wife actually loved shaving that off live on Facebook. That was a good one.
That's funny. That's cool.
But yeah, last time, Ryan, you were last on. I went back, had to look, 12/1 of 21, Milepost 45.
Oh, of 21. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was a minute, but I didn't realize it was 21. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's what I said too. I was like, damn.
That was a long time ago. I mean, that was
just shortly after I went to YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, I wondered, Luke, did you have hair in 21? Because that was a minute ago.
No, man, I haven't had hair in almost 20 years. Are you kidding me? I was at a soccer game yesterday and had my hat off for a little bit, and people sitting by me, hey, put a hat back on. You're blinding me, man. What the hell? That glare off there, Jesus.
You're gonna draw a penalty for that.
Yeah, I'm crashing planes with the glare off my head. I don't know.
See, take your hat off, put it on. Yeah, it's like an SOS off Luke's head.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, what's up, Dalton? But yeah, no, we're diving in, kind of letting Luke explain, kind of how he got into motorcycles. Because it's a fun way like to start this off, and we can dive into the fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's your game here. I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah, I mean, so I was saying I started riding a little over 6 years ago. Got my endorsement and bought my late uncle's first Harley that he ever owned off the estate, and started riding it, and realized quickly that I wanted something bigger, and faster. Love that bike. Still have it. We'll never get rid of it. It'll stay in the family forever. So from there, it's just really that grew into. I bought a bagger, started crushing more miles, and learned that I really enjoy long distance riding. And man, I've just been riding ever since. This year's been a little rough trying to get the miles in, but just lifing like it does sometimes. But yeah, just got into it and fell knee deep into it, and kind of learned what this community was all about. Learned that there's more to it than just the hog chapter, because you don't know what you don't know when you first started. And
True,
man, I've really enjoyed it. I've put a lot of miles on all 3 of those bikes I've got now, and look forward to putting some more on before the end of the year.
Nice. Yeah, the long distance riding, that community it's one that I got into a few years back, and it's so much fun. And I think some people think that we're crazy for wanting to do some of the riding that way. It's like, you're not enjoying, you're not having fun. I'm like, nah, you don't get it, dude. I'm having a blast.
Yeah,
and it is fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I did. I mean, nothing like some of you mild monsters, but I mean, I like last year I did. It was like 9 days and almost 3,000 miles, and that was my longest one so far, and it was great. I loved every minute of it. I covered 10 states and saw places I'd never seen. Got to meet some people in the community that I'd wanted to meet. So it was just a really fun, amazing trip, and really solidified for me that the long distance riding, that's what I want to do. That's what filled my bucket.
Nice. Yeah, I figured I was listening to one of you guys' episodes, so I figured I'd wear my 83rd anniversary Sturgis shirt, because it was a good one.
Nice.
Yeah, that's funny. I've been telling people for a while, when you're doing your when you start riding motorcycle, right, and you kind of trying to figure out what you want to do and how you like to ride and whatever, I tell people, like, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Just get in where you fit in, right? I mean, I think that we all have this idea of what we might like to think we are. And Luke and I talked a little bit about that on one of our last podcasts, about how our own maybe style, or, what we first thought it was going to be like when we were riding, what that evolved into. You know what I mean? Like, we kind of were both like leather jackets, leather chaps, and, thigh high boots, and, whatever, fringe, and, kind of all those things. And then you kind of start to refine kind of.
I want to see pictures of you in thigh high boots now. Come on.
I don't want to see that shit. No way.
I mean, I got a great Halloween outfit that I've rocked for the last few years. So you can't unsee that once you see that. So.
That's what nightmares are made of, that picture.
But no, I think what you're saying is great. I think the biggest thing, anybody, like you're saying, finding your niche, what works for you. I think the biggest thing is just being comfortable. Get a bike that's comfortable for you, or, get one that you like that, ergonomically fits, and then make it a little bit more comfortable, and then figure out, like you're saying, what do I want to do, And it's not so much, I don't think, a person doesn't have to go out and just slam miles, but, get a bike, and I think, do some short rides, maybe a 1 or 2 day trip, and start experiencing stuff. And I don't know, for me, I think the traveling by bike is just so much, it's absolutely amazing. It's so much more personal. I think, people, you get a bike, you kind of get into that, and then figure out, hey, is this going to fit for me? And man, you can have a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's funny too, because I know people that, and it's kind of interesting from an industry perspective. You need all of those people, right? You need the people that are just weekend warriors. You need the people that are going to be motorcycle camping. You need the long distance riders, because they all add something to the, to the culture, to the industry, to, this thing that we all love. And in each one of those is not for everyone. Right. But like you said, if you, give it a try, see if that's what you want to do. See if, motorcycle camping is what you want. And I was telling somebody one time, like, people are like, oh, I don't know what I need for motorcycle camping. And I was like, well, if you don't know, and you're not down with camping, like, don't break the bank doing it. Like, go buy an Amazon special tent and an Amazon special cooking kit, and hit the road. Right. You don't have to spend, $500,000 to buy all the best gear and think that that is going to be what you need to have a good time. Because that's just not the case. And one of the things I said to Luke was, a few years ago, my dad passed away. And one of the things that I kind of decided to do was it made me, I don't know if it made me face my own mortality, but it really made me think about how what I was choosing to do with my free time and how I was utilizing that time. And like I said to Luke, I said, one of the things that I just decided is I wanted to say yes a lot more. Just say yes to those things that people want you to go out and do, hang out with friends, go to a restaurant that you have maybe thought, well, I don't know if that's really my jam. Just go and try it. Because if you don't, sometimes the greatest adventures come from something that's completely and totally unplanned, from that one thing that you just decided to do that you were apprehensive about. And all of a sudden it turns out to be this amazing thing.
Was it the old saying, today is here and tomorrow's not guaranteed?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, tomorrow's never guaranteed. Right. So
right.
I think that's just I think, and I don't think that we should be living that like it's going to drive this anxiety train that, oh my gosh, every day I have to do something. I have to, I have to accomplish something. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that just, at the end of the day, at the end of your journey in life, all your life is this culmination of the experiences that you've had. And if you, I've never met anybody that has made it to the end of the road and decided that I wish I did dishes more. I wish I mowed the grass more. I wish I, fill in the blank of whatever task or chore or whatever that you have to do, that they wish they did that more. I think people always wish that they had more time with their family, more time with their friends, that they would have experienced things, that they would have taken that trip that they said no to, or they would have gone on that, thing. And I think that's why when you're out on your motorcycle in the middle of nowhere and filling up with gas, people are so inclined to ask you where you're going and where you're from, because they really see that you're on this grand adventure and they wish they could be doing it themselves.
Yeah. Or you meet those people. No, go ahead, Luke.
I'll say, or who's this crazy son of a bitch that's riding in the 100-degree weather in the middle of nowhere? But no, I agree. I mean, I think you touched on it, right? Like, it's, for me, it's, I know it's an old saying, but it's not the destination, it's the journey. And that journey is going to change over time. Whether it's, what kind of riding you do, like what you're talking about, Denver, is, start with get you a bike that you're comfortable on, start on a day trip, 2-day trip, whatever it may be. But also that what bike you might like may change as well. And you just got to have an open mind to those things too. So, I mean, that's, we've all got friends that have gone from the Sportster to the Bagger, and some of those have gone to the Pan America now or whatever else. And, that's just part of their journey. And if you have an open mind to those things, that journey is going to be a lot more fun.
I mean, look at in the chat. I mean, you have Brad the biker there, and he bought a bike that I would literally burst into flames if I sat on it.
Yeah, I mean, he decided to go from the full-on Harley bagger to the ultimate. I mean, you gotta say, I mean, the Honda Goldwing is tried and true and proven. You want to get into a touring bike? I mean, the Goldwings have proven that they will go the distance and go the miles, and hey, and to each their own, everybody has the bike they want. And no, he found it. He loves it. It's comfortable. And dude, it's awesome. When he told me, I thought it was a fucking joke. I won't lie. Then he sent me the picture. I'm like, holy shit, you really did. Damn.
Yeah, no. And I think that's, a really good friend of mine who really was, for lack of a better word, not riding anymore. I mean, some of you guys might know him, Tony Cox. He was really not riding anymore. And he decided to sell his lowrider S that he had completely built out. And he bought this, he bought a Pan America first and started riding that. And he said, oh, this ADV stuff has really it's really brought me back into loving riding again. And then he bought a Tenere, and he's absolutely in love with that. And so, you never know. I think if you're open to whatever that journey is, and you decide that, hey, as long as it's two wheels for me, I'm going to be in it. You never know where that journey might take you.
I would love to get an adventure bike. I think it'd be a blast.
Yeah, I rode one. I had an opportunity to ride one. My friend Walter in DC, when we went to Percy's prayer service, and I rode Walter's Pan America, and was only had done like probably two things to it. So for the most part, a stock bike. It was the most fun I'd ever had on a stock motorcycle by a long shot.
They're supposed to be a lot of fun. I need to try one. I haven't rode one yet.
Yeah,
well, I got a good friend that I do a lot of, iron butt rides with. He's got the 1250 GS, and he'll feel like every other fuel stop because he's got like a 9.4 gallon gas tank.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You can go 400 and I think he said 425 miles to a tank.
That's amazing.
On the highway.
Yeah. I don't think I could sit on a bike that long for that many miles at one shot, but I mean, more power to him. It's weird too, because I thought the riding position would be uncomfortable, and it's really not.
No, see, what you need is you got to sit on one of these wild asses.
Oh,
there you go. Yeah.
And promo code D Woods, get free shipping. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I already rock one of those. So
yeah,
sure.
You just got to get it in there somewhere. Craig's a great guy. Craig and Renee are awesome.
Yeah, we just I just made an appearance at his 10-year anniversary yesterday.
Oh, nice.
So I went down to his shop in Brainerd. We did about a 430-mile round trip day. Got home about 9:00 last night, and we didn't really stay for very long. But we made an appearance and checked everything out. And he had a ton of people there from the Mile Monsters.
Yeah, the Monster Bash was there.
Yep, and he had a bunch of people from what's the other group of long distance riders that he's like the Hoka guys. So there's a bunch of there was a bunch of riders from the Mile Monsters and a bunch of riders from Hoka that were kind of all involved in that event. So good on him. He had a good turnout for his anniversary party.
Yeah, that was the end of the Monster 79. That was the big bash. They brought the heroes up there, and there's people came from all over the country to go up there, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like you were talking earlier, fueling, riding in, middle of nowhere. Get back to that conversation. And, you look back, it's like you're talking, you run into people or, people like look at you and curious where you're going, what you're doing, or, you get in one of those fuel stops. It should be, 2 minutes and it ends up 10 minutes because, somebody there, used to ride and, I used to do this. And then, you start hearing some stories. And by the end of it, it's like you've made a new friend in the middle of nowhere. And it's just, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it really does. That motorcycle really opens up some doors. I was telling Luke, I think, I don't remember if it was a while ago we were talking about it, and I've kind of gotten to the point where if I'm traveling solo, I lie. So like when people ask me where I'm going or where I'm coming from, I lie because I don't want to inadvertently also make myself a target. So, if you never know who that person is that you're going to be talking to either. Right. And so
Ryan's really scared of being sex trafficked. And so he makes that up a lot.
Yeah, it's true. It happened to a buddy of mine. He wasn't actually sex trafficked, but he was told that he was an earner and they would really want to sex traffic him. So
while his bike was broken down on the side of the road.
Also true. And he was told that by a group of bikers by a female biker. So and he was told that in Missouri. So go figure.
Yeah, I stay off that road. I don't get anywhere near that one.
Well, what's that event where they do all that sex trafficking? Isn't that Lake of the Ozarks?
Yeah, might as well be. Jesus.
The dueling banjos. Ding, 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 ding.
I have to get that in there because that's yeah.
Tell you one thing I learned though, for people that wanting to get into figuring out if they like moto camping and that just adventure riding, I guess, in period, whether you're camping or you're going to a campground, you're hobo styling it, is know the weather where you're going to camp, just so you have the proper sleeping bag.
Yeah,
That's
Because
helpful.
I had a 40-degree bag one night and camped at 40 degrees, and I froze my ass off. And I said, never again. So I
Yeah.
bought a 0-degree bag, and that one goes everywhere when I'm
Yep.
out, doing my, like the Monsters Over Mountains riding, where we're sleeping next to the bike, doing it the old vagabond style, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that I'm warm. I learned that lesson once and said never again.
Yeah, I did that too. I same exact scenario where we ended up actually camping in the snow or the ground was snow covered, and because it snowed a lot. It was actually Labor Day weekend, and when we were camping in the Black Hills in South Dakota, and it was absolutely ridiculous how cold it was. And I had same thing. I had like a 40-degree sleeping bag and froze my ass off. And so now I do the same thing. I just bring the 0-degree sleeping bag, and I feel like if it's too warm, I just will uncover, right?
Yeah.
But you can always just throw a blanket on you. But if it is too cold and you don't have a warm enough sleeping bag, that's not a good situation to find yourself in.
Yeah, of course, my wife comments, I like hotels when on the bike. Yeah, yes, this is true.
Hey, I had a friend one time tell me that his idea of roughing it when he was on his bike was a 4-star motel. So
Hey, speaking of which, when you were in Brainerd, did you get to meet Pat Cornell?
not that I know of. No, I mean, you know what? Here's the deal, and this is not a knock on any of that scenario or people. There was definitely two groups of people: the Mile Monsters guys who kind of all know each other, and the Hoka Hey guys that know each other. And my friend and I were really like the oddballs out, right? That didn't belong to either one of those groups, and so it was a little like it just wasn't our jam. So we were there for about an hour and a half, maybe close to 2 hours. We watched some of the biker games that we did, and then we bounced. We also had about a 220-mile ride home, and so we knew going out, and we didn't leave till like noon, so we knew going out there that we weren't going to be there real long anyway. But honestly, there weren't a lot of people that like went up and greeted you and like welcomed you and that kind of stuff. So it was a little bit different than smaller events that I've been to where, typically like when we ran our small events, we always made sure that we had somebody kind of like, hey, if you see somebody that looks like they're out of place, that doesn't look like they came with anybody or whatever, like just go shake their hand, say hi, do whatever. That really wasn't how this was set up. And most of the people there had a connection to somebody that was there. You know what I mean? The only people that we really knew, and the whole reason I went was to support Craig. I don't know the Mile Monsters guys. I'm not involved in anything that they do, nor do I know any of the Hoka Hey guys. And that was the majority of the crowd. And so from my perspective, it just wasn't an affiliated group of people that we were involved with at all. So we just went there and, made sure that Craig saw that we were there and watched some of the biker games and saw some of those guys are very, very, very good riders. I mean, they're really skilled. And I'm not talking about people that can drive or ride really fast or whatever. I'm talking about people that are, like they were doing slow speed maneuvers. They were doing U-turns with bikes on both sides of them. And, like really good, the biker game stuff that Craig had lined up where like he put softballs on a tee and they had to drive by and pick it up off one tee and then drop it in a basket. And then they did another one where they had to like pick it up off the tee, do like a loop around the basket and then drop it in. And I mean, they were doing some crazy ass shit. 3 tees in a row. You had to go around the box. I mean, they were really doing some crazy stuff. And then he had like a 2x4 that they were going to be riding across, and he had some really technical things set up for these guys. And I'll be honest, I'm not as skilled as these riders were. I mean, there was a couple of them there that Craig, I watched him ask the guy. He goes, "When I see somebody ride like you, I ask him if they're a motorcycle police officer, or you know what I mean." And he was like, "Well, I think he told Craig he was an instructor." And so, I mean, it made sense because these guys were really, really good riders, like very technically good riders.
Yeah, watching some of that stuff is impressive. I mean, especially like those speed courses, like, the law enforcement, the police officers, and some of their training and stuff they do. But I know Craig likes to play around with that stuff, and he's really good. I've seen him practicing some of that on his
ADV bike,
adventure bike he had. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done
good at
some he's done some technical courses where they score you in points and things like that for how they time you, and then how many cones you can go around, and how many, like, he's going over logs and boulders and all kinds of stuff. And so, yeah, he does do a lot of that technical riding. And I tell you what, and here's the reality of it, is that for a person to get good at that, you have to go on courses that are set up. You have to practice those maneuvers, and you have to take classes and to be taught how to ride like that. Right. I mean, that's a real thing. And I'll be honest, I don't do those things. I don't go on those closed courses, and I don't, and I ride, but I always ride within my skill level. So,
Yeah. I like Frank's comment. It only works when you bring it with you, because we've done 4 years of Monsters Over Mountains, and the first 3 years, Frank forgot a sleeping bag at my house every time. The morning we'd leave for the ride, he'd forget it.
That's consistency right there.
Yeah,
it was.
Right.
So, well, what made you guys get together to start the Motostate podcast? How'd it come about for you guys?
You know what, Luke? I'm going to pass off this one to you, man. This is your story to tell.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess literally just over a year ago, I was invited to try out for a podcast, and something I hadn't really thought about, but the opportunity came about. That didn't work out, and look, hindsight, I'm thankful it didn't. What I know about podcasting now versus not really knowing shit a little over a year ago, I don't know that it would have been a good long-term fit for me. But I realized through that journey, I wanted to start a podcast. And so, took some time to think through like what I wanted that to look like. And, obviously based around motorcycles, but not just motorcycles. I wanted to talk about life. I wanted to talk about parenting and relationships and, mental health. Especially, I assumed our audience would be heavy on with men, and so mental health's a big thing. Guys don't open up a lot, and try to create a space where folks could feel comfortable opening up. And so, got through the holidays, and just started putting feelers out there, and reached out to Ryan, and after the podcast he was on ended, and said, "Hey, I know that just ended, and that was a long journey. And if you want to get back into that, the door's open to have that conversation." And Ryan said yes. And so it took a lot of planning, obviously, because unfortunately Ryan was on the same page of what I had envisioned this would look like. So from there, it was, man, thank God. One of the big things for me was I wanted someone who'd been on a podcast, because I don't know what I don't know. So show me how to do this. It wasn't because I wanted to pawn everything off on him. It's like, teach me. I want to do these things. We'll divide and conquer. And so, we came up with a name, and then, I've never built a website. I've never had a merch store. I've never set up Discord or Patreon or all those things, and YouTube channel and all those, and you name it. So, we started down that road, and we're able to launch this with our first episode on July 1st. And we've released an episode every Monday since, and it's been a whole lot of fun. And it's something that's become kind of therapeutic for me personally, to get out there and talk about talk about my journey as a person, as a motorcycle rider, as a dad, as a partner, you name it, as a son, as a cousin, whatever, talk about all those things. And it's also been a way to keep myself accountable. If I say I'm going to do something on that podcast, I sure as hell better do it. And that's really helped me follow through with some things as well. So.
Yeah. I mean, that is that really sums it up a lot. I think, from my perspective, one of the things that I really credit Luke for in this journey is he put it out there and said, "This is what I want to do. I'd like you to be a part of it." And I said to him, I'm like, "Hey, can I have some time to think about it?" And he said, "Absolutely." And so, from my perspective, I started texting him and saying, "Well, if we're going to do this, we need to do these things." And I started talking to him about it, and he goes, "Okay." And he was taking his notes and putting everything down. And then I was like, "Well, if we're going to do this, we need to have a name. We need to," and I started thinking about like putting everything in order, having kind of gone through this, having a podcast for 7 years, having learned a ton about, where we needed to be when we launched it, as opposed to just kind of picking things up as we went. And at a certain point in time, Luke is like, kind of feels like you're in with this, with doing this. And I was like, well, let me tell you next week. And then, like I felt like I felt like I wanted to do it. I felt like we were on the same page. I think a lot of the conversations that I was having was just my opportunity to kind of feel Luke out a little bit too, because I wanted to make sure that it was going to be a good fit between the two of us. I didn't want to launch something with the idea that we were going to do 3 episodes and be like, fuck this is not, you know what I mean? And jump out of it. I wanted to, if I was going to do it, I wanted to be all in and commit again to something. And, and part of that is just texting back and forth and getting to know each other. And kind of that's what we were doing. And we had a couple of phone calls and a couple of conversations. And
we basically, we basically dated for a while.
Yeah.
Really what I was,
yeah.
And I mean, sure. And for context, Ryan and I have only met in person once.
Yep.
3 years ago.
For sure.
So,
yep.
And we live nowhere close to one another. So,
right.
So it was definitely it's a unique situation, but also I think maybe not so unique anymore in the world we live in where everything's so virtual. I credit Ryan also for I assumed it, but he put it out there. So we kind of need to get to know each other. I was like, yeah, we do. Mm-hmm. and fortunate for us, I feel like there's been, in the feedback we've received, it's not just my opinion, the good chemistry, things have been going well. I think Ryan's even mentioned numerous times where he's like, man, there's not a lot of editing that goes into our podcast because things seem to flow really well, and hopefully that continues on.
Yep. And I kind of told Luke too early on, and I said, one thing you're going to find out about me real quick, Luke, is I said, if you need to tell me to shut up, you need to tell me to shut up, because the one thing I learned about podcasting over 7 years is that the killer of podcasts is dead space, because it makes it seem like it's not natural and it makes it seem really uncomfortable. And I told him, I said,
true.
I said, like, if you don't jump in, I said, I'm going to fill every second of dead space. I said, I will absolutely do that.
And he word vomits every fucking time. I swear to God.
and that right there is what we needed to do, is we needed to develop that rapport where I could say something, he could completely, jump down my throat about it or whatever. And that it's not personal. It's all about, getting to know each other and actually being friends. Like he said, it's kind of, we were like friend dating, you know what I mean? We were getting to know each other. We were putting it out there. We were pushing each other's, and we still do that. We push each other's boundaries a little bit. We find out, what's going to drive the conversation, how do you feel about it? And I will go on record by saying one of the things I appreciate about Luke is he's not afraid to disagree, which I really appreciate, because I feel like we've lost that in this society somewhere right now, where if you disagree with somebody, it's like all of a sudden, fuck you, I can't be your friend. You know what I mean? Where I
Yeah.
would much rather talk with somebody who I don't have every single thing in common with, so that I can learn something from that person, so I can grow on my own a little bit, so I can get a different perspective, so I can, instead of somebody just sharing every viewpoint that I share, bring something to the table. And I appreciate that. And Luke has done that. And I fully appreciate that. And kind of, and the other thing I appreciated a lot too was that, he's not afraid to say, hey, like, I don't know what to do here, or I don't know if I know enough about that topic, or
I've
whatever it
been
is.
saying that my whole life. It wasn't hard. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Right. But it's good, because like one thing I said to him is, I said, I said, Luke, I said, we have to go in this with just like transparency, and that transparency is going to build trust. So like, if I bring up a topic and I don't like it, or he doesn't like it, like, you have to be able to tell somebody, like, I don't want to do that one. I don't like it. I don't want to go down that road, whatever it is. And that has been, it's been really good, from that perspective. So yeah, I mean, why I say it's Luke's story to tell is because, I didn't invite him; he invited me, to join his idea, and we kind of talked about it, and I said, this is what I would like to do, and Luke was like, wow, I'm really glad that's what you'd like to do, because that's kind of what I want to do. And so then I said, okay, well, once I decided I was in, and I was in all the way, then I said, okay, let's start making a list, because these are all the things we need to do, Luke, and these are all the things we need to launch all at the same time, so that we can put our very best foot forward from jump, and that nothing is an afterthought and everything was planned. So
Yeah, and I don't know if I've shared this with Ryan, but my girlfriend and my good friends and my family are like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, I want to do a podcast. He goes, well, Luke, you're in the middle of starting a podcast. My parents had both been not well health wise, and I'd spent a bunch of time in Tennessee. I was in the middle of changing jobs and starting a new job, and like, oh, and you're going to start a podcast on top of this. I was like, yeah, why not? And it did, and it was fine. And like I said earlier, it's kind of been therapeutic. Like it is taken my mind off things at times that haven't been great, with whether it's my parents or, I love my new job, but starting a new job can be stressful. Right. So,
for sure.
And like Denver and I were talking about earlier, before we got on air, my daughter's 13. She's going on 24, and these teenagers can sometimes suck. And so it's been a nice break from all those things. And it's really, really added a lot of value in my life. So I'm not afraid to make this sound selfish a little bit at times, because listen, this is our podcast and we're going to do what we want. And as long as it's fun, we're going to continue to do it. So.
And I think, like, for me, doing it is that this isn't my job. This is something I do to have fun.
Yep.
The broken record that I've said, probably every Milepost is the biggest reward of doing this, meeting different people, is building that friendship. Yeah. And, just having fun talking with other people, of why they enjoy motorcycles, and hearing their stories, or, we all live geographically in different places. So you learn other places, and you build that bucket list of adventures, or you learn something. I mean, there's always something to be learned from somebody, a little tip, a little trick, or, advice. I mean, all of us do have our own styles of things, and it's also educational.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
For sure.
I have a group of friends for sure that I have made through either YouTube or through the podcast or through this podcast or a friend of a friend or whatever, that I have their numbers in my phone, and I have texted with them. I have talked to them. I have, talked to them online, and I've never met any of those people in person. And I wouldn't hesitate to go stay at their house or have them stay at mine. Right. And that's the thing, that regardless of what anybody says, whatever dumpster fire they think Facebook is, or whatever dumpster fire they think Instagram is, or YouTube, or you name whatever social media platform you're using right now, if you use it in its intention to connect people, and you kind of really set aside the dumpster fire bullshit that's involved in all of them, you really can get a good, you really can make the best of those social platforms. I mean, you really can.
Oh, I mean, 100%. I can, look at the side check, look at, Bri the biker. Haven't met him in person. We've probably spent hundreds of hours on the phone talking, texting. We've done multiple podcasts with each other, co-hosting shows. And dude, the guy is, I mean, honestly, one of my best friends. We were doing it for a while. He was helping co-host, and he has that personality that it's just, it works so well together doing some of these episodes. And it was an absolute blast because he, comes at it from a different avenue, a different perspective, and has great ideas, comments and questions. And it's just, he's been a great friend. And, it's, partially thanks to him why that I am on YouTube. He's one of the guys that helped me because I'm not a tech savvy, smart individual. And, I owe a lot to, this podcast from Ryan.
Yeah. I mean, I talk about mine and Ryan's origin story. I mean, how I met Ryan was his previous podcast. They had a meetup here in Missouri, and some friends of mine who listened to that podcast invited me to ride down there with them. I had never listened to a podcast in my life. Never, ever. And went down, met those folks and Ryan and his group, and we had a good time. Rode back the same day. It was hotter than hell. God, it was awful, but kind of like today. And from then on, I started listening to podcasts. And I mean, if it wasn't for that, just being invited down there and then start listening to podcasts, I would not be the writer I am today. It opened the door to a whole nother avenue of what was trending at the time, other parts and accessories and things and riding gear. I mean, every aspect of riding. It opened my eyes to things that I just didn't know about. And I'm so thankful for that. Everything happens for a reason. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be sitting here today either. So it's kind of wild how just a quick invite to ride 100 miles west of here turned into this. So
it was funny too, because when Luke came out, and this is how sometimes those rare, like very fraction of moments can really cement in your brain. And so when Luke came out to an event we were hosting, he came up to me and said to me, "Hey, I've listened to you talk about riding with your daughters. I'm a girl dad myself. I'd really like to kind of pick your brain about that sometime." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And that moment, that little brief moment where he mentioned that, I remembered 2 years later when we reconnected, and I said, "Hey, when you came to our event, you asked me about riding with my daughter." And he said, "I did." And that little tiny moment stuck out to me. And I knew that when we started this, at the very minimum, we were starting from a place of like a genuine understanding of each other as both being dads of girls. And that really, those kind of little things like that, those moments that can stand out in your brain. And it's really funny because I've told Luke since then what was going on in the background of that event that he was at. And it was a lot. It was really a lot. And but that moment stood out enough to me that 2 years later when we reconnected, I knew exactly who he was as soon as we started talking. And it's just I for whatever it is for everyone else, I'm on kind of the same page as Luke. I owe a lot to social media right now. Not a lot in terms of money or whatever, but I really credit that for connecting me to some of the best people that I have been around in my entire adult life have come from social media. My very best friend right now just reached out and said, "Hey, I'd love to come ride with you guys. I live really close." And I just got like a super, that, not to be sappy, but I just got a super like heartfelt message from him on my phone just a couple minutes ago. And it really is it really is an amazing thing that can happen. Like I said, if you utilize those tools, and it can change your trajectory, it can change how you ride, it can change who your friends are, it can change, it can put you with people that have those same similar things in common that you do. And what I love about that is that inevitably it puts you in contact with people that you probably would have never encountered in your life. But you take this small thing like motorcycling that we have in common, and it draws everybody to that same place. And all of a sudden you realize that, man, in this world that is so divisive right now, that is so, I'm going to say it, fucking ugly to be in right now, there's this place where we can all go and have this thing in common where a lot of that other shit kind of melts away a little bit, or it doesn't seem nearly as important, or it doesn't seem to hold the significance that it does everywhere else. And you know what? We need more of that right now. You know what I mean? We really do.
Well, but we all made friends from this community and through social media or whatever else, but we were also willing to, we were getting out what we've put into it. Because you can get on social media and you can ride a motorcycle, but if you're not interacting and trying to put forth an effort, people aren't going to magically start messaging you and say, "Hey,
It's true.
let's go riding." You might get a DM wanting you to sell you some jewelry, or or want your last 4 digits of your social and your mother's maiden name. That's all you're gonna get. So,
hey, my friend thinks you're cute. Go follow her page.
Exactly.
Yeah, your friend's a fucking hooker. So there you go.
Yeah, that's how I got an ex-wife. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Wow.
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Yeah, she is his ex-wife and maybe a hooker or not. I don't know.
I'm kidding. Oh, I'll probably hear from a lawyer about that. Anyway, Jesus.
There's a soundbite. Oh yeah.
Can't wait.
Might want to cut that out.
But again, you got to put, if you're willing to put, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. So, I mean, that's, and so credit to you guys for doing that, right? I mean, you got some of your best friends and learned so much because you're willing to be open to that. And again, goes back to being open to the journey, right?
And being open to, you want to start something like, do a podcast. Like in 2022, when I got invited to go off to meet everybody for the send off at the Hokahei when it was in South Dakota. I'm like, really? Craig Johnson called me. He's like, dude, you've met a bunch of these people, everybody. You ought to just come over here. I'm like, shit, I got to talk to my wife because that was also our wedding anniversary. And we ended up riding over to South Dakota.
Well, good.
Which was cool because, my son came with me. Who grew up riding on motorcycles, but he had just started riding on the road like 6 weeks earlier. And he ended up, hopping on his V-Star and he rode over there too. And that was quite the awesome ride. On that adventure, also Setzer Pendis, Jason Setzer, who we'd been friends online. He rode up from Texas and actually, got to meet him in person. We met up in Montana. Then he rode the rest of the way and, we all camped together at this little campground over there. And, it was an awesome experience. And, all because of wanting to do this and meet people that enjoy motorcycles.
Good to see him back on the road too.
Yeah. Him deal. Do a 5 mile an hour U-turn and end up damn near losing your foot.
That was wild. Well, him and I guess Hopper too, right? He's back on the road after his wrist or whatever. So good to see
broke
those guys back out there.
Broke his wrist arm. He's in a cast for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a guy that I've kind of been same thing friends with online for a really long time, who I interviewed. Same thing. He's a girl dad. He lives in the UK. You guys probably know Dad and Mad. He was in a pretty serious wreck.
Yeah.
And he's awaiting surgery, and it just got pushed off another week. But he's got both of his arms are broken, and he's got broken ribs, and he's injured. He's injured pretty bad right now, and he's doing regular updates. And I kind of I wish him all the best and wish him well, because he's a really good dude, and he served his country. He's a veteran. He's a fellow girl dad, and he posts a lot of amazing stuff. He he and for all intents and purposes and for everything that I've ever been able to see or whatever, he is a great family man. And I wish him all the best, because I know that I know riding's important to him. I know that his family's important to him, and both of those things are hard for him because he was on a road trip. So he's not even near home. He's in a hospital away from his home and away from his family and his daughter and his wife. And I wish him all the best. So.
Yeah, for sure. No, I've had some great ride. I mean, riding with my daughter, she loves it. And remember when she used to live up in northern West Washington, call me on like a Tuesday, Wednesday. Hey, Dad, the weather's going to be great this week. You ought to come up. We'll go for a ride. Okay. No problem. It's like a 2.5-hour ride up to her house, and wife and I go up there and, we take off for a day ride and up all throughout, the farmland, the Cascades. And she grew up on the motorcycles, and it, taking her for rides was always, it's been awesome. Still enjoys it, even that she's older now. With her own kid, our great little grandson.
Aw.
Holy smokes, you're a grandfather now too?
Yeah, my grandson will be 1 year old next month.
Good night, Denver. How old are you?
I'm 47, okay? Not even 50 yet.
I'm just giving you shit because I know I'm the oldest one. I know for sure I am.
Yeah. I was gonna say, careful there, you old fucker. You're the oldest one on here, so.
Yeah, what are you, like 49?
Yeah, I'm 50. I turned 50 this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's got his AARP card. It's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, you don't even have gray hair yet. That's some horse shit.
Oh, dude, you have no idea. I found some really good dye. My whole fucking beard's gray.
Yeah, mine's coming back really gray. I'm like, holy shit.
No, dude, mine is all gray. I have barely any color, but I found this great dye. It's fucking amazing. Look at this. Look at this glorious beard I have now.
Glorious house of beards.
This kind of makes me think of Hulk Hogan NWA days when he
Now maybe I should dye my mustache blonde and then keep the rest of my beard black.
There you go.
That'd be great.
The New World Order. Yeah.
Right.
That's right. NWO. That's what I'm sorry. That was my bad. Yeah, NWO. Yeah.
Not NWA. That's a different group.
Yeah, you definitely weren't in that group, Ryan. I can guarantee you that.
Start calling him Easy R. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, fantastic. I love it.
I might have listened to that group when I was younger.
Hey, mean, there's definitely something to be said for a little bit of old school rap and hip hop, right? I mean, I think we all had that time in our lives when that stuff spoke to us, or at least if it didn't speak to us, it spoke to how we knew our parents hated it, and so we were like completely on board with it, right? So no, it's a great thing. Music is a really important in my family, with my wife and kids and myself, and so I love it because I can always mark a point in time in history by the music either I was listening to, or I can identify with that music at that time. So,
well, I listen to music. I mean, nonstop. I'm I don't want to say musically driven person, but no, I mean, music's always been a big thing, just something I enjoy. I mean, I could turn on music instead of turning on the TV and listen to that. And, I don't know if you're like this, and, you get in the shower, so you put a good song on, get a playlist going, and I'll laugh. Like the other day, my son was listening to Pantera while he's in the shower. I'm like, holy Jesus, kid's smart.
Yeah, it makes me always thankful for the Super Bowl halftime show a few years ago when they had Dre and Snoop and Eminem, 50 Cent, like everybody. Man, that was great. Man, that was pulling on my heartstrings.
My daughter, we were watching that, and she comes out and she goes, how old are these guys?
Go to your room.
I was like, you are grounded. I'm like, you are absolutely grounded. I'm like, give me your phone, give me your electronics, you're grounded. I'm like, until you know your history, I'm like, girl, you were lucky. You might have been conceived to this music.
Yeah, you know that song "Back to the Motel"? Yeah, how do you think he came around?
I was listening to this, and it was like this. It was like a meme, or I was watching just scrolling right on Instagram, and there was this meme, and it was like 90s rap, and it was or no, whatever, 90s 2000 rap, like questions from my childhood, right? And one of them was do you think these are the questions? Do you think anybody ever stopped and collaborated and listened? and then the other question was, I wonder if that bitch ever moved. And I read them to my wife, and immediately when you heard the question, you knew the song, and you were playing the song in your head, like that very second. I was like, oh my God, that is so great. So
great.
Yep. I was like, that was the best one to me. I wonder if that bitch ever moved.
Oh, so great. So great.
There we go. I smacked my Ethernet cord on accident. Oopsie.
It happens.
That's all right.
Yeah. So speaking of music, you got a certain playlist. Do you listen to it when you're riding down the road on your bike?
Man, Luke, you go ahead. I know I know that you're killing it on the country tip, aren't you?
Riding is a mix of country and rock, or alternative. I don't know what I'll like. Americana, a little mix of everything. So yeah, I mean that's you name it. I mean from Whiskey Myers, Cody Jinks to Leonard Skinnard, Deftones. Rage Against the Machine. I mean, it's a mix. It's a mix of stuff. There's definitely
about the what they like to call the old Southern hick hop?
Southern what?
Hick hop.
I don't know what the hell that is.
Oh,
yeah. I'm not big in
Jesus.
I'm not big in them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you'll hear that. You'll hear some Eminem. You'll hear some old Snoop and Dre. It's a good mix of stuff.
You guys need to throw on some good old yacht rock. That's what you need to throw on.
For what? We in an elevator? Like what?
All you gotta do is type in a playlist on Spotify and just type in yacht rock.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's every charity function I've ever been to. That's the background music. I get it. I mean,
Jesus Christ, this guy. Fucking, what are we in an elevator?
Fucking loving an elevator. Here we go.
I told you.
Great song.
I told you guys I was old. What didn't I?
Yeah. Geez,
no, I also I think I'm probably pretty eclectic. I found myself I got hooked on a niche for a minute, and I'll listen to all the music in that, right? So like I did that I just put in I went into Spotify and just typed in Dave Matthews and played the Dave Matthews playlist, right? Or I did that actually the other day with Ludacris. I put in Ludacris, best hits or whatever, and I got like all the songs from Chicken and Beer, and I mean it was just like
nice,
So yeah, I like for me, I end up hitting I'll hit it like a genre or a person, and I'll listen to a bunch of it for like a period of time, and then I just move away from it and listen to something else. And mine is really, I don't know, mine's like really big. I'll listen to like Elton John, Billy Joel. I'll listen to like show tunes. Then I'll listen to old school hip hop. The only thing that's really not on my playlist is any kind of country. I'll listen to alternative, whatever. But I'm not a big country guy. But I will say that some of them like more modern. I would say that I'm not a country fan, but I'm definitely a blues. Like that blues music. So like Chris Stapleton, who I know is kind of a country guy, but he to me really harkens back to that like blues era. Like to me, he has a blues voice.
No, he does have his voice, that rasp, and yeah, no, I agree.
So yeah, so I like that kind of stuff. So
So what you're saying is you also have your share playlist. And you just jam it. You just want to turn back time.
A guy I ride with has a playlist of all like Cher, Britney Spears, Pink. Like he'll listen to all of just a whole bunch of like music like that. Oh yeah, I'm not real big on Cher. No, I mean I haven't turned back time in a while. But
yeah,
I'm not saying that
you did with that dye in your beard. I
don't know. Good one.
I'm gonna have a NWO shirt on next week.
Yes, love this. Great. Well, it's better than a onesie. Just keep it to a t-shirt. We don't need the singlet.
Hey, I mean, that's what I'm gonna do for Halloween this year. My Halloween costume is gonna just be like a NWO tank top and a yellow banana hammock.
Oh, sweet Jesus!
Yeah, I can't wait to get banned from YouTube. It's gonna be amazing.
Can't unsee that shit.
Make an appointment with my therapist real quick.
In living color, right there.
That's right. That's right. Oh, so funny. But Ryan, you don't listen to music while you're riding, though, do you?
I do not. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I listen to all that music is really like in a car. Yeah, we talked about this a while back. I'm a lost in my head kind of person on my bike. I rarely listen. If I'm listening to music, it's because I'm 800, 900 miles into a day and I'm exhausted and I need something to like get my blood flowing and my heart racing and that kind of stuff. But yeah, we rode over 400 miles yesterday and I rode in complete silence. No music at all.
Now, see, I'll turn up the music, man. I have some full-on concerts going on in my helmet, man. It's like, I'm belting out those fucking lyrics and just hitting them notes. At least, to me. But,
that's all.
And you flip up the visor, and you flip up that whole chin bar and you catch a bee in the mouth or some shit. And like, fuck.
Yeah.
Or you're trying to sing and the wind hits, just like, fuck it, I got to close it again. I got to get back to my moment,
It's funny.
Yeah. No, I'm just sitting in my helmet, breathing in my own onion breath.
Solid.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, don't do that.
No, you got to get the, chicken strips with some barbecue sauce. And it'll be better than the onions.
Oh, yeah. I always make that mistake. Either that or like you decide that Mexican food is a good choice on a road trip.
Then you're stopping at every other rest stop.
Right, dude. It is not it is not. And then you're on your, then you're doing the brown butt rally.
That's all right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I go back and forth. Like I'll have it cranked up, and then sometimes I just want some background music, background noise when I'm riding. It just depends on what I don't know, just how I'm feeling in the moment. But it's definitely always upbeat, faster paced stuff. But yeah, I can't go completely in silence. Not normally. Every once in a while, but not normally.
Yeah, I think for me it's a lot like meditation, right? Is what I would relate it to. For me, it's kind of like getting a tattoo. I know people that won't get a tattoo without music because that that whole like noise of the gun and everything else just is too much for them. And I do the same thing. Like I don't listen to music when I get tattooed. I am straight away in the moment, like feel the pain, be in the moment, feel the, go through the motions because, you earn it, I guess. Right. So, but for me, definitely the reason why I don't listen to music is 100% intentional. So,
yeah.
I'd probably go stir crazy in my helmet if I didn't. Just gotta have something, just like I use Spotify. A lot of times I'll use YouTube Music, just type in an artist and song comes up, hit play, and let them just build a playlist. And I'm just gonna, either that or I'll call people and hey, what's going on? Blah blah. Just make time go by, especially if you're long ride or whatever's going on. It's just I don't know. I'm a musically driven person, I guess, so I gotta have the music going.
I make my own riding playlists. I have a couple of different ones. I have a playlist for everything, honestly. Working out.
I used to.
Working from home, whatever, cleaning the house. I mean, whatever. I got a playlist for about everything.
Yeah.
I generally just let YouTube generate it for me.
I used to do that, and not riding, but I used to do that for a lot of things, and now I travel a lot with my current job, and so I do listen to podcasts and music driving, and so I'm doing that quite a lot, and that is just the that's for driving or whatever, like I'm totally down with it, but for whatever it is, just on my motorcycle, I use that as kind of a, like a time to meditate and clear my head. And I really try to get whatever it is that I'm trying to process or get through my head or get through my brain. I really try to use that time in the motorcycle to get all of that out and processed all of that time. And so yeah, it's weird too, because riding like I did yesterday has kind of ruined the short rides for me a little bit, because I like that time on the motorcycle to get into, get into the rhythm and to get into my head.
Honestly, think about it. I'll listen to more music, but I think like in my day-to-day life, I'm a truck driver, drive a cement truck every, Monday through Friday. And I think I listen to more podcasts when I'm in my mixer truck than I do music. But but it's totally opposite on my motorcycle.
Sure.
I'm the same way as you. I'm on the road a lot with going back and forth from Tennessee, either checking in on my parents. My girlfriend lives in Nashville. That's a 325-mile drive just to Nashville. So I do a lot of podcasts on the road in my truck, but on the bike, it's all music. So.
Well, it's like, I got Frank Orlando coming. He's 1,000 miles into his day driving back to Yakima, Washington from Brainerd. He's like, and I'm listening to you guys.
Well, thanks, Frank. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, Frank made a comment a little bit ago, and I just want to comment on that now, just so he can.
I had that. I was gonna.
Yeah, just so it's out there.
Right there.
He mentioned that he was a Mile Monster Hoka Hay rider, and he was at that event. And he said he's a bit of an introvert himself, so he kind of understood. I'm not an introvert at all. I simply was just making a statement. It wasn't a knock on the event that Craig put on, or of the groups of people. How I felt was exclusively to how I felt and my friend that was there. And I think it was just a function of the other groups of people that knew each other so well. That was my perception of it. It was almost like it was like we showed up at somebody else's birthday party. Like you were invited, but all of the people at the birthday party knew each other, but they didn't know you. I think that was more about kind of how I felt about it. Not that was intentional by anybody's situation. 80 feet traveler. Ryan, you're not an introvert? No way. But that was just that situation. So
if you're listening to other podcasts, Ryan, what's a couple that you enjoy listening to? I mean, it doesn't even have to be motorcycle related, just in general.
Yeah, honestly, most of the podcasts that I listen to are motorcycle related podcasts. Way back in the day, I listened to Motorcycle Men. That was probably the very first motorcycle podcast that I ever found that I listened to. I listened to Fast Life podcast. Jay's from Texas. We interviewed him and have spoken with them a little bit. And I listened to what would be another one? On occasion, hold on a second. I'll pull up my list, because I don't want to forget any of them that I kind of listen to. Danger Dan, he's a good one. He's done some really different things from time to time. The S&S Performance Times podcast on occasion, I've listened to that one. A non-motorcycle related podcast is a podcast called The Real Ones.
That's great.
John Bernthal.
Andy Frisella.
Solid.
Yeah. So I've listened to that one a little bit. Daughters on the Road when they had their podcast or was doing on a regular basis, I listened to that one. There's this like inconsistent podcast. I've listened to it off and on, Beyond the Rider. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. The guy that does that podcast, he's a little bit of a douche canoe, but I've liked his content from time to time. for those of you that don't know,
there's the
Brian.
other sound bite. Yeah.
That's Brian the Biker's content.
Right.
I listen to
We've got to
Craig's
mark
Wild
this
Ass.
1 hour 9 minutes. Okay.
The Wild Ass podcast, Craig's podcast. I've listened to that a little bit. So, a little bit of those. I haven't really, other than like motorcycle content. There was another one way back when. It was let me see, Motorcycles and Misfits. So they had
I remember that one.
a really big podcast way back in the day. So I've listened to a bunch of those. I'll be 100% honest with you, and I don't have a problem saying this. I steer clear of any of the motorcycle podcasts that speak to the 1% world. I don't. Yeah. I don't listen to those podcasts. I don't listen to that content. I'm not disparaging those podcasts or that content. It's just not it's not a part of my world.
It's not your thing.
It's not a part of my world. It's not what I do. I know it's a part of motorcycling. I know it's a part of the motorcycling world. It's just not a part of mine. And so it's like if somebody asked me if I listen to, because my wife is one of those like murder mystery people. Like she watches.
Oh, you got one of those too?
Yeah. I call her. I call them her murder shows. She watches that.
I got a good story around this.
Yeah, she watches that kind of stuff every night before bed, and I'm just convinced all she's doing is taking notes on all of the ways that she's going to be able to make me disappear someday, right?
Yeah, I keep waiting for a comment to pop up. Maybe my wife's doing something else and she's not listening right now. Because no, that's her totally all day long.
Last weekend, I was in Denver with my girlfriend and one of her friends.
You were not here. No, you weren't.
Damn right I wasn't. I'm pissed off you shaved off your beard. That's why. Anyway, I'm kidding.
Don't worry, it's coming back.
So we were in Denver. Hey, Luke, you want to go to this crime con? What the fuck's crime con? True crime. They have like their Comic-Con. It's called Crime Con. Luke, you want to go? Absolutely not. Well, we only. So there I was hanging out in the hotel lobby at the bar watching football while they did their thing. Oh, it was painful. And these people were into it. And it was, stay clear of that stuff, man. That's just a bunch of psychopaths, I think. But anyway, I digress. I'd say, but speaking of podcasts, I Speak Good. You familiar with Dump Truck, who does a lot of the emceeing of a lot of those? He started one and talks a little bit about motorcycles, but a whole lot about just other things. He has a lot of non-motorcycle folks on his podcast. I've really enjoyed it. Talks a lot about, talking with folks that have started businesses, that have gone through mental health challenges, things. I mean, you name it. They've covered a lot of stuff in a short period of time. That's been a good one. Shifter Crew's been fun. Taylor out of San Diego. They help put together a lot of bike shows and like managing that process for folks. But he's had some really good names on there. Some guys from the Bagger Racing League, some good folks from LFG and others. And that's been a good one. And I really like 2 Lane Life. Those guys, man, they get they
do some amazing cool shit.
I mean, Jay Leno, they were just doing something with Jay Leno I saw on Instagram, and they've had a lot of the folks from the Mayans and TV show on there, and man, I've got to meet them a couple times. Just nice folks too. They seem pretty down to earth considering how well their trajectory is really taken off and with their success, and they seem like good folks. They crush some miles. They do some riding.
Well, it was thanks to them, like when my first time to South Dakota, Jason and I and son, all of us, we went up to the Boar's Nest, which is just south of Lead, South Dakota, Lead. Yeah. And it's a freaking cool place to go visit and check out. Good food, cool little restaurant, bar place. And, they were there like 2 weeks before we were there. And, it's one of those things. You're watching other people's, content and whatnot, you enjoy it. You find cool little places to go visit and little bookmarks put on Google Maps and places you want to go.
Yeah, a couple others I do. There's some guys at Oklahoma City that's called Chubby Boy Magic. and they're fun. It's really easy going. It's just a good time and good dudes. I've met them before. They've had me on their podcast earlier this year, and then YouTube, not necessarily his YouTube channel, not necessarily a podcast, but the Bogey Biker, a guy who, and I guess I can relate to it. Later in life, becoming starting to ride, and got into riding later in the life, and just kind of his journey. And he's got a group of good friends that he rides with, and they do some fun stuff. It's again really easy going, and kind of wasn't that long ago where I was like, oh, I don't know what kind of seat to get. And, he's dealing with like, should I get a Saddleman? Should I do this? What upgrade should he do to his bike? And he's going through those processes that I was going through not that long ago. So it's been a good one to watch too.
Nice. Those ones are fun, especially you can get little ideas or just find something you can relate to, and the content's decent, you enjoy it, and just turn it on and enjoy what you got.
Yeah, in the comments there, the Ride Life podcast, I should mention them. I was on theirs earlier this year as well. Those Brian and Brian, they're and the other guy, they're good folks, man. They're riding up there having fun, and for me, being originally from down south, to hear that northeastern accent always makes me laugh. So it reminds me of some family I have in Boston. So there's some good folks there too. Brian and Jim, yeah, thank you, appreciate it. What about you, Denver? What other podcasts or YouTube channels do you tune into? Like, what's
there we are.
What's on your regular damn Yankees? What's on your playlist for podcasts?
Lately, for a while, I've been listening to a lot of the Sean Ryan show.
Okay.
I like a lot of his stuff, and it's just interesting. And I don't know, I've been listening to a ton of his episodes.
He has some really interesting people on his show, with military background and or IT background, and what they do, pay to get hack into things, and just hear those stories.
His newer one, where actually it took a while to get through it, with John Rich, who's part of Big and Rich. That was like 4.5 hours, but it was actually really, really interesting. It wasn't the first, 2 hours kind of wasn't what I expected, but no, it was really good. I was impressed, and he does a great job with the shows, and he's just one that I enjoy listening to.
Yeah, he's he does a good job interviewing folks.
Yeah,
does a good amount of research before he has someone on there. I appreciate that. Flows well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, he's really good at what he does, and thinks why he's grown so big in the short amount of time.
For sure.
Yeah, I tend to I would say that I'm much more of a podcast listener. I would listen to podcasts for two reasons: educate or entertain. That's the only reason I would listen to a podcast. I'm not going to listen to. I would be perfectly honest and say that you couldn't pay me to listen to a political podcast right now, because
Sure.
I don't think that I would find much value in any of it. Just because like I said, I think that we're so the spectrum is so screwed up right now that I wouldn't enjoy it because of kind of where we are as a country right now. And I'm really just a lot more interested in thinking about things that are more positive. I'm really, really a lot more interested in finding ways to, looking for the good in people rather than finding a reason to dislike someone. I just say, the time on this rock is short, and I don't want to spend any more of my time and energy. I don't want to give any more time and my energy to people that don't deserve that time and energy. That's just that's just how I've decided. I think that I feel like I want to govern the last few years of my life. I mean, I'm talking like I have a terminal illness. I don't.
Man, we were just joking about you being old, man. Go on, easy now.
No, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think I would be remiss to say that, a parent passes away, it does something to you. A friend passes away, and it really brings your mortality to the forefront, because that really makes you think that that could be you. You know what I mean? When you're in that situation, and it just really makes you think a little bit more about the people that you surround yourself with, the people that you are friends with, the people that you choose to be around, the conversations you have, all of those things. They start to, I don't want to say matter a little bit more, but certainly um, the negativity matters more, and separating myself from that essentially negative atmosphere.
I think, things happen within people's lives, and in a way, it changes your perspective on, I don't want to say life in general, but just, of how to go about things, or, you know, prioritizing.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
For
I
sure.
mean, life-changing events are just that. And
Yeah.
and so, hopefully it puts things in perspective for you at the end of the day, right? I mean, you losing your father, my parents, I'm an only child and I live 500 miles from my parents, and
Right.
they were both in and out of the hospital in March and unexpectedly. And
Right.
so just made me look at things a lot different as well. And that's just, that's part of it. I mean, becoming a father, I mean, that
Yeah.
certainly look
Yeah.
things a lot different nowadays too. I mean, you can go down the list, but if you're not evolving and you're not changing you're not changing your priorities when you have those life changing events, then you're stuck, and that sucks for you. I hope you
Right.
get unstuck.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, true. So, but no, man, thanks, for you guys coming hanging out and, talk.
Yeah.
These kind of ones are fun. I mean, it's not so much exactly a motorcycle, but it's fun to, you know, get to know the other people within our community, and have these kind of talks and conversations. Just enjoy the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For sure. And thank you for bringing us on, and for, really reaching out again. Like I said, I had not, that time passes crazy, right, Denver?
Yeah.
I really had no idea that it was 2001. And then, because when you posted like a while ago, you were like, yeah, Ryan owns, I don't remember, is it 48 or 54, or what milepost was I on your show?
Four, 45.
45. Okay. So
Yep.
like when you posted that, I was like, oh yeah, I remember, and it didn't seem like that had been 4 years already. Right. I mean,
Yeah. No kidding.
that is crazy how that time goes. So, and not in a negative way. It's just like,
Oh
wow.
no. Yeah.
And it's funny because you, again, like in between those times, you keep up with people over their social media life, and what we post, and what we share with people, and that becomes the way that you keep up with these connections that you've made, other than the people that you talk to on a more regular basis. um it's really funny. It's really funny, Denver, and I have to mention this because I busted his balls earlier, and I don't even know if he's still listening anymore. But when you were talking about how Bry helped you out through YouTube, Bry and I were kind of on the same journey, kind of at the same time. We started YouTube and started talking together. Bry actually did the same thing for me with cameras. I actually bought my first like real live, like, professional style, and it's not even a professional style anymore, but I bought like a real life camera from him when he was changing brands. And he really kind of opened my eyes to the idea that there was other ways to make content. I still use that camera to this day to make content when I'm filming. And so it's funny how all those connections happen, because you talked about Bry helping you out, starting a YouTube channel with your podcast and things like that. And Bry, kind of helped me learn a little bit more about cameras, and learn, what to use, and how to use it, and, how to get a little bit better. And it, those are the kind of things that we need more of in the community, right? If you have the knowledge, share the knowledge, right? Because then maybe someday I will be in that same position to do the same thing. Luke and I did the same thing. I bought a set of microphones, and he goes, "Hey, I see that you bought those microphones. What'd you think of them? Like, what?" And that maybe is where you probably are going to get maybe more real information, is when you have that conversation, rather than going on YouTube and watching the millions of videos of people who are getting paid to sell you those things.
That's right.
I mean, but like the Blue Yeti that is from Bride that I'm using right now, that I've had since I started.
Nice.
Right.
That's awesome.
Well, the Rode mic that Luke is talking on was the one that I told him to buy when we were going to start this podcast.
Yep.
So
hey, that's what I use for my iPhone when I do filming stuff. I have a Rode mic LE that plugs right into the lightning port in my iPhone. I love that thing.
Yeah, that stuff's nice.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, hang around for a minute. But, man, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. It's been a lot of fun. And, yeah, HD Travel, you said it right, man. Pay it forward. But, yeah, man. So, thanks a lot, guys. This has been a lot of fun. Stay tuned for updates for Milepost 157 coming soon. Talk to you guys later.